All right, everyone, and welcome to the technical analysis wrap-up with myself, Michael Noss, Chartered Market Technician, for the 27th of September, 2023. And what a day it was. So definitely had to do one today. I am looking and the microphone is working because yesterday I recorded another muted video, but today was where the real action was. So we are going to go through stocks. We are going to go through cryptos. We are going to go through FX. We're going to go through indices, everything. We're going to go through the whole market, try to figure out what's happening and what's going to happen for tomorrow. I've already done the work, so this will still be relatively quick for you guys. But man, what a day. As always, appreciate the likes and the comments and all that. It really helps the algorithm pump the channel wherever you're seeing this from. If you're not on the email list, go to StatsEdgeTrading.com, sign up for the email list. I actually added a tab to my website that has access to all my scans that you can copy into trade ideas. And there we have a completely free intro to trading course if you're just getting started. No strings. You don't need to put an email address or anything. Just show up and click the button, and you get a free 39-second or 39 lesson video going on here. All right, without further ado, enough yip yap. Let's get into the charts. Let's actually size me a little bit lower here and then push me over there. So I'm completely out of the way. But we always start with Bitcoin, so we have to start with Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is still in a range. Talked about this yesterday. Inside this range, which is inside this range. Really nothing to talk about until something happens. And now it looks like we're getting inside like this little range too. So very, very tight on Bitcoin. It will move one day, so I got to keep an eye on it. But that day is not today. A couple things I want to look at. US franc here is kind of interesting because if you take an anchored VWAP and you pop it at this high right here, move this over back here, we are running right into that level. And we a little bit passed through it here. But it's an interesting level for the franc. Really, really extended. RSI oversold into this level in a downtrend, right? So shorting this would actually be a trend continuation play. That's something I'm keeping an eye on. And then we just got to, talk about the silver and gold breakdowns that I have charts here for, right? Gold completely broke down the anchored VWAP pinch we were talking about. We were talking about this forever, that it had to break one way or the other and do it soon. My bet was going to be higher just because that was the underlying trend. But no, we broke down today, so no trade in this one. Obviously, hindsight, should have shorted it. Canadian dollar, if we look at, there's an anchored VWAP from this high right here that we ran smack dab in today and rejected. So I'm looking for at US CAD to the short side over the next couple days right here. Now into the equity market. Just going over, making sure I got everything I want to talk about there. Yep. We're going to talk about the S&P 500 and this major VWAP that I've been talking about for some time, especially since yesterday. We've been talking about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to draw it from this major March low. And as always, if you're anchoring VWAPs, you need to do it from major points. Just don't nitpick, right? I'm not going to anchor it really. That might be an okay day, but I'm not going to anchor it randomly. Again, make sure it's a very significant level, which this low really was. We sold off into this. That was kind of the double test of support right here. And then we rocketed from that March low. So this was pretty significant. I highlighted this yesterday. I can't remember if I did it in the one that was muted or the one that I recorded after. Today we sold off all day below it, and then we just rallied. So as we rallied, I did buy a few of the trades that I highlighted yesterday just to see if we're in like a little bit of a short-term bounce. Not going to call a bottom. It's not what I do, but pretty wild action there reversing this. So I wouldn't be shocked to at least see a rally for another day or two off of that level. This was all led by oil. So if we take a look at the USO, right, we gapped up and then just kind of ran all day. So definitely oil was kind of the king here. And then as we talked about, gold was the weakest ETF I go through. Before I do these videos, I go through a whole bunch of charts, like hundreds and hundreds of charts, to try to give you what I think is going to be interesting. And as well as I'm just sharing you my process. So I go all through all these charts. I don't need to talk about them all, but you need to know what's going on in the market if you're going to trade. So RYTM, I did pick up a little bit today. Basically, the game plan here is the anchored VWAP from this major low was kind of in this area and a big bounce off it yesterday. So as we continued today and held, I picked up some of this. Worst case stop is going to be right here. Same with a firm. Firm didn't break out as much as I wanted. I kind of wanted to see it over yesterday's high. But the idea is the anchored VWAP on a firm looks something like this. Really, really strong stock pulling back with an 18% short float. But the fact that it held this $20 level that it's been fighting for a long period of time, which was also a big deal right here and here and here, I just picked a little bit up playing against that $20 level. Also, TDW, completely missed this one. Would have been fantastic, so I'm actually just going to delete this from the list. Would have been a great trade, but it would have to be one of those that you just grab off the open. Just not my thing. I'd have to put out the order the night before, and then it gapped up a little bit. You're not going to catch them all. Now, I did add some today. As always, for those who are new, you can get access to my entire watch list if you sign up for the email list over at StatsEdgeTrading.com. It's just at the bottom. But I just go over the things that I added when I was looking. So, Duolingo, I guess this is an app that you can learn different languages. Who cares about that? If we bring out the monthly chart here, you see this thing's been wild from 65 all the way to 150. So a pretty massive mover there. Struggled at these highs, pulled back into this major anchored VWAP. Again, as I talked about earlier in the video, you want to anchor these from really significant levels. We had a big push down, we had a big bounce, and now we're pulling back, and we're so far finding support at that anchored VWAP. So if we can get pushing off here, I like some of that. Probably sell a little bit before it gets through highs, but then if it continues, that's what I'm after, and that's fantastic. Pinduoduo, I bought a little bit of TAL yesterday and had an amazing move today. This is kind of the same thing where I'm taking this significant low that happened right here, and it's pulling back. It's finding support at that level, so that I'm looking to see if this kind of bounces off that. Spotify, another one. There's a lot of these. And again, these all are coming from the Trade Idea scan. Anchored VWAP pullbacks, one of the ones I like the most. But if you anchor this significant level, right, pulled off and we bounced, that kind of notes this as a significant level. We pulled back into that, and we're holding pretty tight. So looking to see if that gets a bounce. Another one, I think this is the last one that I have, is MIRM. So this is a pharmaceutical company with a 20% short float, which is very interesting. $30 seems to be a big level here. We broke through that, and now we're slowly and gently pulling back to $30. So if we can get a bounce off that, I can play against that $30 level. Now, it's very interesting. For the nerds who stay to the end, this is what I'm going to talk about. The sentiment, and I need to figure out a way to quantify this. I need a way to like scrape Twitter or something, because the sentiment in the last handful of days were just awful. It was like end of the world out there. We were down like, I think 7% off of highs, but just people screaming from the rooftops that the world was coming to an end. And that, of course, makes me bullish. And then when it's the other way around, when people are selling monkey pictures for millions of dollars, I know a top needs to come in. I'm not going to take a trade off of that. I need to see price action and event. And this may have been that event. I don't know. We won't know until later. But I'm taking a little bit of a shot here. If we roll over and we break those lows, I'm going to probably abandon everything. I was pretty much in cash anyway, except for a handful of securities. So I was just waiting for my moment. I think this is a moment. I'm going to take a shot and move on. Now, I'm going to be right maybe a little better than 50% of the time. But the beauty is if I'm wrong and we roll back over and we close below today's low, then I know I'm wrong. I can move on with my life. If we rip up, then that's great. That's exactly what I'm looking for on this one. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for the likes and the comments and the shares. Depending on the market action, I may not make a video tomorrow if it's not super exciting, and then do a big long one on Friday. But I may just do a little Substack where I just send out, here's some charts and a little bit of a paragraph, my thoughts of the market. So make sure you're following me on Twitter and Substack and all of those things to make sure you get those. I hope I wasn't muted this time. We will see.